Hello, everyone. Hope you are great. Hope you are safe. Hope you are at home. So, hello, George. How are you?
Hello, my dear friend Manos. All the best for the new week. Happy Monday and happy Live Day.
Yes, this is a very exciting day because Mariam is one. She's very inspirational. I saw lots of things about her work, and it's very good.
I can tell you one thing, all the viewers and the listeners from this video will have some really interesting things to collect and get out of this interview. You can tell anyhow by the headline of the live, if you think about it. If you want to succeed, you need to slow down. I mean, that is totally different
For
from
me,
what we
that's for me.
that's for you. I know that's for you.
When I read it, I told myself, "Wow, no way!
So that's
I got more. I got
really
more."
well, I can
So
tell
I
you
have
one
to
thing.
do lots of questions.
I'm sure you have a lot of questions because the slow and the down, this is not enough in your vocabulary. So
No.
in a sense, there is a brand new, module opening for you. So that's a great thing.
So let's bring Mariam to tell us more about how we can go slower. Hello, Mariam. How are you?
Hi. Hi to both of you. Thank you so much. What an introduction. I hope I can live
Oh
up to
yes.
it.
Welcome, Maria. Welcome to our
Thank you.
live.
Thank you.
Welcome and thank you for accepting this invitation. There is a delay, so we have to.
Okay, we'll
So,
go with the flow. It's fine.
yeah, George, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Like I said before, it is. I'm feeling very excited that we are here. I mean, we've socially known each other for for some years now, actually, because we are sharing the same spot that we get our morning coffee, which is
Yeah.
exciting. It's
It
closed
is.
down now because. But
Hmm.
also, I follow you personally in your social media presence, like in LinkedIn, mostly on LinkedIn. And I was
Hmm.
always fascinated by the way your simple way of approaching things, which is something that really, getting me hooked whenever I read something. And this is why I wanted you to be on this live interview with Manos and you. And I'm sure that there is a lot of things to share to the audience. And I can tell, like I said before, from the headline, if you want to succeed, you need to slow down. So
Okay.
welcome to this live interview.
Thank you so much. Seriously, it's a great honor. Thank you. I mean, talking to another coach and George. Yes, it's a long time. We keep saying many things, and but I think there's always a perfect timing for everything. So I really never rush anything, and the more I rush things, the more things never work. So believe me, the more you slow down, everything will just fall into pieces. And that's the most amazing thing I've discovered in my life. So thank
Okay.
you for this invitation.
Please, Mariam, could you explain more about this?
Well, I think it's really simple. It's imagine you have a fast car, right? And you
Yeah.
want to get from A to Z. So if you go with 200 kilometers an hour, you won't see much, will you? Yes, you're really focused on your target and you have to get to your goal. But what happens is that you actually miss the whole journey. And sometimes, and actually most of the times, you either find out that the target you had put is not one you wanted, or you find that you have completely missed out on the journey and you won't learn anything new. So slowing down you start noticing the little details of life and the people in your life, the situations, and everything starts showing you that there's not just one way to get to your target, but there's so many billions and millions of ways you can get there. And the slower you go, the more ways you can actually discover. So it's really simple. It's like putting your finger like this. Sorry for my finger. But if I do this, I won't see anything if I turn my head fast. But if I slowly look at it, I can actually see things beyond my finger. So it's
Okay.
just a
Can
short
I
introduction.
can I make you thousands of questions? Do you have
Please do.
$1,000 ahead? So then, why do we buy a fast car, a bigger RAM in our PC? We prefer to go with airplane and not with our motorbike.
Yeah. The truth is that we're actually born like that. We're not born like that, but we are brought up like that. And that's the truth. So as little children, our parents, when we start eating, for instance, if you're a child that eats very slow their food, your mom would say, come on, finish, let's finish. I need to finish. I have to, wash the dishes. I have to do work. So the first thing you learn is that you have to eat fast. You have to learn fast. You have to do everything fast. So it's only sure that because we're living in this kind of life of globalization, we have to do fast, because how can we buy, as you said, iPhone every year? Okay, I'm not supposed to say the name, but how are we supposed to say buy a mobile every year if we don't run fast and we don't destroy it fast? So we have to be in the cycle of the little mouse going around and around. So the simplest answer is that we do this because we were taught to do this from the beginning, and this way of thinking is a catastrophe. This is what we're actually living right now, because we're doing everything super fast. I mean, look at your digestion. Sorry, if I'm talking too much, just tell me, okay, stop. So
Tell more
okay.
questions. That's
Super.
for you.
We're
I'm
talking
telling.
about women
Mhm.
who enjoys driving fast, right?
Mhm.
But also we're talking to a woman who's being on this, how can I say, roller coaster when it comes to your business and your personal life. I mean,
Yeah.
there are things that really took a very rush way, I must say, or something like that. I mean, you came all the way from Iran, you came here to
Yeah.
Greece, you had your own business, and then
Mhm.
you changed tweets, uh, all these things that took place in your life. Do you think that
Mhm.
it fast and you couldn't understand what happened, or at the end of the day you should have gone slower so you could understand what was going on and not having all
Mhm.
these years to realize what went wrong or what didn't?
Mhm. Thank you for the question. The truth is that yes, I am from Iran. I came here when I was 6, 7 years old. My father was a banker, so we traveled around. And as a child, when they asked me, what do you want to become? I would say, I want to become the president of the country. And as I wrote that for you, because I thought that becoming a president would mean that I could actually change the world. Because again, as a little child, I remember telling my mother that, can I help you? How can I help you? I would actually take the bags from her hand and, help her in everything she did. So my goal as a child was to find people and help them to be better people. I can't explain it because as a small child, I didn't know what that meant really. Um, but growing up, I was taught to rush because, as I said before, all parents do this. And I found myself rushing into university. I changed 2 universities. I got into 2 different kind of universities. I stopped one. I started the other one. I dropped out of university. I went to my I run a company. It was actually a very huge company that they made picture framing back then in 1999. And before that, we had an idea with some of our friends. I found investment. Everything I've been doing is just to find that I don't need to do all that in order to change the world. I can just change it by changing myself and by slowing down. And it's crazy because now I'm 40 years old and I have a huge background, right? I've done so many things. I've actually grown, I've helped 2 kids grow of my ex-husband, and which I love and adore. I've had mostly my own businesses. As a salesperson, when I left the picture framing, I did any kind of sales you can imagine, truly. I mean, I left my parents' house in the age of 19, and everything I did was to prove myself, to show that I can find the next big thing and become that great thing that everybody wants and respected. And I realize now that, yes, to answer your question, is that half of me would say, I wish I wasn't rushed. I wish I had taken my time and slowed down and really enjoyed my university, for instance, and found the job I really wanted, because there was no need for me to work. But my other half says, if I hadn't rushed, I wouldn't be here today talking to you. I wouldn't be helping people to stop rushing. I wouldn't have realized it. So the spiritual part of me comes inside and says that everything happens in our life because we choose it. We actually create our reality. And this is also quantum physics, because everything in our life is made by us. So if that's true, then I'm really grateful, which that is true, actually. I'm really grateful for my past. So rushing has made me who I am today. If I answered your question, because I tend to speak a lot.
Actually, now taking the break, or you're slowing down in order for you, for us, we can collect all this information coming from you. And obviously, if you hadn't done this over your year, you wouldn't be able to share this experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is absolutely interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
It's my turn. So,
one of the things
what does success mean for you? Oh, sorry.
no, Manus, go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
What does success mean for you, Mariam?
Oh my God. That's seriously deep and too fast.
Yeah.
What does success mean? Yeah.
I am a last guy. I can't go slow.
Yeah, actually, I can see, because I can feel in your voice, and I can see that you do have a rush. So because you have a lot of talents, I can understand it. This is also my job, so I can see that you have a lot of talents and you want to put everything together. So it's kind of obvious from your smile, from your eyes, that you have a lot of passion inside you. So forget about I close the parenthesis. So the question is, what does success mean to me, right?
Yes.
Success means to stand maybe in a crowd and not be afraid of who I am, to say, actually, to not. How can I say this? Sorry for my English. It's kind of, I'm actually now used to speaking
Fine.
in Greek.
Yes, it's better for me.
Thanks. So, to not to pretend and not to have to introduce myself by saying what I do. It's just to be able to stand quiet in a crowd, in people, and be happy with who I am, without having to prove anything to anyone or have to over exaggerate or say what I've done, without having to say all the jobs I've done, all the experience I have. But hi, my name is Maryam, and all I want is to be honest with you, and so that I can, breathe. Breathing. I can breathe without any pain. That's it. I think the most important thing is breathe. Take a breath and not have to think about anything, with an empty head. mindful.
Is it a sense to just be?
Yeah, which is it, that a lot of us actually say that, but and a lot of people don't understand, because when you have so many things going on in your life and a lot of pain in your life, when you tell someone just be, they're saying, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? Get lost."
To be or not to be?
Yeah. But exactly that what you say. If they can actually realize what to be means, is really a success, because we're always hiding and trying to be something else most of the time. I mean, look at us. Have expectations from me. I have expectations from you. We're not quiet. We don't need to talk. We could really transfer the message without saying anything, but we don't.
Okay. Next question is coming.
Uh-oh. Let me take
So,
this off. No.
what, what does business success mean for you?
Another good question. What does business success mean to me? To make money with ethics, maybe. Ethics. I
Money
mean,
with.
with ethics, to be
Okay.
able to have your people an asset. The most important asset for me is my people, is the people who actually help me to be able to help other people, whether that means even the janitor, anyone that is part of my life, for me to be to be at this state in order to be able to help. So a business, let's say it's a big company, its success is being able to communicate with its people, and the people are really in love with the company and the people inside it. That's, for me, is the most important success for a company. And everything after that is just easy peasy, as they say when we're kids.
Okay. One more question, George, please, and then it's your turn. So, how can you combine the life success with business success? To be and to make money in business.
How can you not? I mean, don't we all want products that are made with ethics, products that are made with love? Don't we all want to know that the person who's made this shirt for me has actually respected the environment, the people, and everything in it? Wouldn't I pay more money for this? I would, if I had slowed down my life. And if you slow down, you start making more money, actually. That's the truth. But we have learned to go and get the fast the fast foods, the fast making all these companies that make the clothing so cheap and so fast. Everything in our life is fast, and where's the quality in that? So I'm going to be really short now and say that I saw a documentary lately, an amazing documentary. It was about how the fashion industry works. And it's amazing how, at the end of the day, the shirt that I wear that is bought really cheap makes so much. It mixes with my body and makes a lot of health issues for me. And I had no idea. So it's not about the environment that that companies actually destroy their environment, or the people that work for them, but it's also, it comes back to me, and it creates even worse things for me. So if companies have respect for the people and their environment and everything that they come across with, people will respect that and actually go towards that. So I think they come together, if again I answered your question, because I have a talent not answering always the question.
You can answer whatever you want, as
Oh,
much
yes,
as you
thank
want.
you. Yes.
George,
Can I borrow this last part of your question? I mean, okay, do you think that it is, okay, do you believe, because we all think, but do you actually believe that all this transition in the economy, with the environment, with everything that is going on, especially nowadays, do you get to feel this sensation of slowing down, of realizing the ethics, of going into deeper into our body, our minds, our thoughts, our life, our surrounding? Is it all about work? Is it all about money? So at the end of the day, is it now one of the best times ever, as they all say, that we've been through this whole global issue, coronavirus and lockdown and everything? Do you think that it is actually now the time to rethink and actually put the ethics in our work, stop hustling that much, slow down? You will still
Mhm.
go from A to Z. Do you think that it physically can happen?
So is because sorry, we have a connection problem. So was your question? Is your question saying that if it's possible to slow down and all this?
Well,
If
actually, using your last word from before,
mm-hmm,
all right,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and saying that, for example, you do understand the positivity with the environment, with people working with ethics, and all this, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If I understand well, first of all, mhm. I think we are in the past 10, 15 years, globally, um, companies have started to realize that the way forward is only the way to put ethics in their work. It's not possible to do it anymore because the way we're going forward, the resources will just destroy and there won't be anything left. So it's 100%. It's only the right way to go forward. I'll give you an example. If I'm actually answering your question, is that, for instance, one of the companies I work with, their team that they wanted me to work with them, their job was like customer service, and they come up with a lot of people that they have to serve over the phone and get their responses. And when they asked their people to rush oh good lord, this
Process.
any help? Process,
Process.
thanks. Yes, this process. What they ended up was that they weren't actually listening to their clients, and the clients were saying something else, and they were actually understanding something else. And listening is one of the most important things in a communication, in slowing down, because when we start doing everything fast, we don't actually listen, but we think we understand, and we completely understood the wrong things. So when they started slowing down and having quality time with their clients, they started making more money because they started to have happy clients. They started to get new clients because they started actually listening and giving quality time to their clients. So 100%, you have to put ethics. It won't work anymore. I don't know why, but it's not working anymore. And a lot of companies are starting to see this, that it will work better if they slow down.
One more question on this, if it's okay. It's like continuing. Would you turn down a job proposal or a job offer or collaboration proposal because of that? Would you?
I
I
have.
mean, yeah, you
I
have.
have. I have. I
I'm
have
sure.
many times because if you start making ectosis, good lord, what is going on with me?
Ectosis. Discount.
Discount, yes, discount. I found it. Yes, if you start making discount at your work, you won't be good at it. So that's another way of saying you're rushing, because if I want more clients, that's not the right way. Actually, I decline a lot of companies, not just because they want something else from me, but because in order for me to give quality to them, I have to have the time to recharge my batteries after each session, after each seminar, and I have to find out and be able to communicate with their people. So yes, I have declined many clients in a sense that I need my own time, and that they wanted something else from me. And wanting something else is not something I can do. Believe me, I've done it so many times in the past, so many times, and I always ended up hating myself, really. And that's a big word, which is the truth. Because let's say, I don't know if you've heard of this, a lot of people can't say no because they're afraid they won't be loved. And love is behind everything, right? So if you say no, it will sting you for 5 minutes, and then you will feel so proud of yourself and everything will be well. But if you say yes, 5 minutes you'll feel good because the other person says, oh yes, you'll do it. And then the whole time you will be hating yourself or saying why I did it again and again. So yes, it's the best thing is to do less with much more money will come.
No is
You
a
said,
full sentence, please.
Sorry?
say again, George.
No is a full.
No, it's a
I
good
said no.
sentence.
Oh, no is a
No
great
is a
sentence. Yes, yes,
full.
yes, yes, yes. You don't have a problem with your microphone. I think it's your connection, maybe. That's the problem. So it's not
There you
that we
go.
don't hear you.
It's
I
that
think
time of
everybody's watching. It's everybody's watching movies, I
everyone is
think, online. Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you know what I remember? My first psychotherapist told me, if you want to get money, you have to stop working.
See?
After 20 years, I hear that again. I
Thank
hope to
God.
not hear it again in 20 years from now. God signal. Thank you.
Yeah. No,
So,
let me just say really fast again that, for instance, you know how women, we are we do everything together, right?
task, yeah.
Multitask, yeah. And men are focused. Well, that's really a huge thing. Think about it. Women, okay, this is going to sound really strong, and I might get some women viewers not liking this, or men viewers not liking it. But women, we juggle a lot of things. Of course, we are built this way, but that doesn't mean that we always do everything perfect, right? But men tend to do few things at a time, which they actually learn to focus and do more, do good quality stuff. So both is needed in our life. So just saying that you could slow down.
You need more effort. It's not too simple. You said before about listening. What really listening means for you? Because it's very huge.
Listening.
Listening,
Yeah, it
huge for
is. It is. It
relationship,
is.
for friendships, for business, for everything. Listening is
Yeah, yeah.
for everything for me.
I teach LAFE. So LAFE stands for listening, affection, unity, giving, honesty, and empathy. And the most important, okay, all of them are important values, but the most important thing is listening. And it's not by chance that is the first value of the LAFE. I'm one of those people who never listen because I was rushing all my life. And when you rush, you never listen. You assume, but you don't listen. You think you know what people are saying. You think what the other person wants from you, but you don't listen. So listening is again, I'm telling you this, I'm working on it nonstop for the past 10, 15 years. But listening means not having an agenda. Listening means when I say yellow, your mind will not rush into thinking, what kind of yellow? Oh yeah, that yellow car I was thinking. Or okay, maybe not with yellow, but if I tell you, for instance, a mobile, you start thinking, what kind of mobile and how big is it and what will it do? And your brain starts creating and you stop listening. So scientists have found out that only in our best quality listening, we listen up to 25% only. And it's such a small number. It's crazy. And I'm talking about the best case scenario here. So 25% means really destruction. Because from the time that the person says something that triggers in our head, we stop listening. And then we start listening with barriers. For instance, if what you're saying triggers my belief about racism, I will stop listening to you. If what you say triggers my belief about women, for instance, I will stop listening if I have a belief about, sexism or women or and blah blah blah, anything. So listening is so valuable, and we have this in us, but we have carrots in our ears. So yeah.
So what should they listen of what you are saying in order to listen what you are saying?
Good question. But
Everybody
it's
listen.
impossible.
Everybody listen now.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult on an online interview, online discussion, let's say, to start listening, because you already have an agenda to ask me, and I'm here with an agenda, which means
No,
that
the most
listening will be
questions
out
is
of the
not there.
question.
The most questions not there. I have more.
Oh God. In order to listen, we need to start breathing first. And one of the exercises I do with people is I make them close their eyes. And the other person start telling them their story, and they close their eyes, and they actually start understanding more through this. Yeah, but please don't close your eyes now.
How easy is
Yeah.
to listen someone who speaks not the mother language? For example, I am
Difficult.
I'm in UK, and most of the times, especially if Londoners talk, then everything is blank.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the most important things about listening is asking questions. Now, that's something we don't, because I don't know why, but most of the kids, we are grown up by being taught that asking questions means that you are a loser, or that you don't know enough, and people will make fun of you if you don't know it. So we grow up by not asking questions. So one of the most important things is, if you don't understand, just ask it again and again and again. And if you do, the other person will start slowing down. How will they if you keep saying, yeah, okay, yeah, I understand, and you haven't understood anything, and then the question comes and you really don't know what to do. So yeah, it is difficult for you. I can imagine what it means not understanding someone because of their language.
Especially of Eastern London. They
Oh
speak
yes.
Cockneys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. My sister is in Eastern London. Yes,
Yes.
I know. It's
Wow.
terrible. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
George, do you have
Yeah.
a question?
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask. I've been hearing all these wonderful things that you are sharing with us, and at the end of the day, when somebody actually sits down and talks with you and actually communicates with you, when do you feel that okay, this person has got the meaning, understands, and everything? What I'm trying to say, can you actually categorize people, or whatever you have to do with your business, especially with your business? I mean, you have someone who thinks and talks fast, but also you have someone who wants to uh, you need to repeat or whatever your questions. How do you actually cope with that? How do you manage to keep this balance? And if we are talking about business with many people and so on, how do you actually balance
You mean,
that?
how do I use listening in my work? Is that the
Yes,
question?
but because, for instance, there are people who are listeners and they want you to repeat it, and but they also people who just want to hear it once and then move on. How do you cope with that?
Well, I'm lucky enough because I get paid for it, which means that they come to me to because they're usually what I mean by paid is because people come to you because they've hit rock bottom, or they want to change, they can't stand their life anymore. So that gives me the chance to keep pushing and showing them that, for instance, if somebody speaks fast, or someone, and I have so many clients like that, people who either speak fast, which in most cases, or they are so negative in listening. They don't want to listen because they think that they have already life figured. So it is a huge challenge, actually, to keep saying, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go deeper and deeper. Let's take some breaths. Let's come back. And all the sessions, whether they're business or they're personal, they start in a very high level, then they fall, and then they go high again. And I think that's something that happens in all businesses, and that gives me a lot of courage at all sessions and people, because I know that in the beginning they will have a lot of trouble understanding, and they want to show themselves. They want to say, you know what, you're wrong, Maryam, you don't know what you're talking about, I know what it is. And then I hit them with something, and I mirror what they're saying, for instance, and then they fall into this gap, and then pain starts in their body, and something happens, like chemical reaction inside them. And then is the most beautiful thing, the aha moments almost always happens. So they stop and say, oh, you're right, I'd never thought about it like that. So you really need to listen and be patient, and to listen to what they're actually hiding behind the lines, because we all say things, but we don't really mean it. We mean something else.
Question from Dean.
Okay.
I want to be millionaire. I have to do a few tasks in daily. How can I slow down? I want to get it in 5 years from now.
Okay. That's a question from someone?
Dean, yes.
Okay. It's very difficult to answer a question like that, because there should be a discussion. For instance, my next question would be, why do you want to be a billionaire? Right? What do you want to create? Is what you're creating something you love? How can you put time on it? And how do you know it's going to be 5 years? What if it's 1 year? What if it's 10 years? What if it's 2 years? How can you know? But if you say 5 years, it's like closing all your chances, all the amazing infinite chances, and things won't end up the way you like. Because how do you know what's going to happen to you the next day? What if something bad happens? What if a millionaire comes to you and trusts you and gives you a lot of money? You can't put time. Time is in our brains. You can be a millionaire if you love something.
So don't you use timetables in order to, when you coach a business?
Of course you do. Of course. You put a timetable, but it's different. You don't have expectations out of it. You see, you put goals, but not expectations. Expectations are what we put on goals, and then our goals won't come true. When we put a goal, it means that, yes, I want to, okay, let me go again.
Yes.
Saying I want to be a billionaire is not the right thing to say, because then you'll stay with that notion forever and ever. But if you say, I want to create, for instance, a product for this and this reason, because when I think of it, my stomach hurts. I know that I can do good with it. I know that it will bring a solution in our society for something, right? If you have that goal, then you would put that goal in front of you, and the timetable would be like, okay, what am I going to do today to take another step to make that happen? And that will be your timetable, not saying that 5 years. Okay, then you keep looking at your watch. 5 years has passed and I'm not there yet. What's going to happen? Are you going to kill yourself? No, you're going to keep going at it.
Okay, so what you mean, I think so that what you mean is when you slow down, you have more time to think, to revise, to remove, to schedule, and making things happen easier. Because if you rush, then it's more difficult to use alternatives in order to go faster. This is what you say.
You know what? Yes, and let's say you want to find a client that is going to buy your first or you want a big client, let's say, okay,
Yeah.
and you think the only way to find that client is to make phone calls and to be in the meetings and rush and do this and do that and do all the things that a business person would do in order, because that's the way you think will happen. What if, where you're standing by the bus stop, let's say, then there is a millionaire right next to you because he is standing there for his car to come, and you talk to him, just smile, and he opens up to you and he listens to you. What I'm telling you has happened to me in many kinds of ways. When I stop and I relax and I breathe and I look at things from a different perspective, really, windows open in my life. Things happen because, okay, here comes the spirituality. I'm sorry, I have to put it in. We're not alone. We can create everything.
Yeah.
We are so powerful, and we only use such a small percentage by putting timelines, silly timelines. So many amazing things can happen. Sorry, go on.
That's very, very true. Like that, I met the first millionaire in London. In the
Imagine.
yeah,
See?
in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but if you want to become a billionaire, just become a billionaire, it won't work. I'm sorry, but if it works, it will happen again for a reason that you're supposed to learn something out of it. But if you do something you love, it will most definitely every day will bring you something good and great out of it. And who knows, you will change, and things you might actually like it. So yeah.
So, Dean, what's the reason that you want to be a millionaire? If you would like, you can share it with us.
Must be the numbers, the figures, the 6, 9, and so on. Maria, you mentioned something about you present here two worlds. The spiritual one, which is making very it's undergoing, you know, it's your first impression of how can I say, it? But also
Mm-hmm.
the real world. Which one do you believe most, or do you want to enhance more, or you're using more? Which one of those two words?
Sorry again, because I have a difficult time because of your connection understanding the question. Did you ask me which one I prefer from spiritual or business?
Not prefer, which one you use the most in your life, in your business?
Okay. Well, you see, your question implies that spirituality is different from something else. But we are spirituality. Everything we live is spirituality. I mean, if you walk on the road, if you really understand the magic of life, of a tree, of every little insect that walks and is doing something in order for something else to happen, you'll understand that everything is in spirituality. We're all living in an amazing world, but what we see is only a tree and not the whole picture. So when you start looking at the tree, you'll miss out on everything, and that's what rushing means. So spirituality for me is loving myself, breathing every moment of the day, and understanding that I'm not alone, that anything I want is possible in my life. I make that possibility happen or not. So I
That's the
think
answer.
there is. Mhm.
That's the answer I've been meaning to hear. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank God.
Very nice definition about spirituality, because I deeply believe that there is a huge misconception about what spirituality is. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
And do you do some energy healings, spiritual
Mhm.
rituals, whatever, in order to heal or take care of yourself, or to help business owners, executives, whatever they are?
What I do is take a doll and I start poking them with little pens. No,
Really good.
sorry. There are many things that
That's
I
good.
do and a lot of people do, but if you ask me what is the most important thing for someone to slow down and see the light within them, the power they hide inside them, is by just taking deep breaths. And not just deep breaths as in, okay, I'm going to take 10 breaths. I didn't mean that, but conscious breathing, so that you understand that the oxygen you're putting inside you is will completely transform your cells. I mean, imagine our body cells are all made so fantastically together. They work together, they collaborate for all the organs to work amazing. So why don't we humans work? Why don't we see this? Why don't we put it outside of our body? If we start realize and understand how our body works, we will really definitely see the spiritual realm behind everything. So I think I did not answer your question, and I think I kind of forgot your question.
It's fine.
All right.
Yeah, but
So
Crazy.
I have a huge excuse because
You,
Mariam
yeah.
Mariam often says about you have to take a deep breath, and I have sinus congestion, so I can't do that.
I've heard that
That's the
before.
reason I have to rush.
I know, but trust me, if you do conscious breathing, you see, why do we have health issues? It's because our body is trying to tell us something. So you have a sinus issue, for instance, is because, for instance, you cannot take from life all that you can through your breathing, and your body creates this problem, and things will keep carrying on like that. If you consciously tell yourself that I am willing to breathe, I'm willing to take a breath, to make my life slower, to get more out of life, then your nose will definitely start working at some time. So because what you say, I have actually, there's a funny thing, I have a client like that, and she has really a trouble breathing from her sinus, and we've done a lot of different kinds of breathings. But if you start using your consciousness, your brain, and live in the now, your body will start changing. For instance, now, I mean, after so many years of doing so many things, as soon as I do something wrong, as soon as I don't respect myself, as soon as I don't love myself, as soon as I rush, something in my body starts kicking. I start having
Yes,
pains.
but what if the bone is bigger than the normal?
Well, the bone will start healing himself. Have you
Okay,
any idea? There's so many stories. What about cancer? People actually get rid of cancer.
so you think that if I start breathe consciously, then my bone is get smaller?
I don't know what's going to happen. I can tell you for de facto that something will happen and you start breathing. So if I can see, again, I'm going to tell you, and probably because, I'm not really an online person, but I'm going to tell you that I can see you move a lot. You have this spark inside you. You have a tendency to move. Now that's a rushing thing in you that is really, really huge.
For me, this is imagine that a few years back I did 10 days meditation silence without doing anything, 10 hours per day. I was like this.
Yeah.
you can
It
imagine.
was crazy.
I can
I
imagine.
did 2 times. The next time
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to do the live step up.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm not always a big fan of meditations in the sense of meditations, because what happens when you open your eyes? What happens when you start going into traffic again? what are you going to do? Close your eyes when you're driving and you're going to go crazy? You have to live in, we have to start living consciously, live in the now. What does now mean? I always have this question. So for me, living in the now, which means conscious breathing and all that, is to understand why I'm doing or thinking what I'm doing right now. Why am I talking with you? What am I saying? When you tell me something, am I really listening to you, or am I having some things in my head that are tickling and saying, he's not right. I'm completely losing the scenario. Consciousness means being there fully. That's something we don't know how to do, and we have to practice doing it. And that's why I believe in breathing.
George, when I make my English videos, I will send them to Maryam because she won't tell me that it's not right. You can listen it. My video is fine. You are my person. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to do a video 5-10 days. Do it again, do it again, do it again. So my friend,
oh God,
you can't listen my videos.
Of course I will. Breathing in, inhaling, exhaling, and physically actually doing it. Now, it's sort of a question like the guy or the person who asked before the video, and I want to be all right in 5 years. So let's just say that you walk into a CEO or to, I don't know, to the head, the president of a company, and she wants your help. You want to share their problems, whatever. But at some point through your interview with them, you get the feeling of sharing this, I'm going to say the spiritual side. All right. You might say, okay, Mr. Ishakis, why don't you, relax, take a few deep breaths. We're going to continue from here. Would you do that? Not on the first impact or on the first, I don't know, meeting, but would you actually express this side of your business or of your mentality due to a high end or high ticket, I don't know, meeting or whatever?
I'm going to say here, the spirituality I said before is that everything happens for a reason and in perfect timing. Before you asked me this question, just before you asked me, I wanted to say that one of the most important things, again, is honesty. Honesty with vulnerability. So you actually asked me the question. So you see, everything is really connected. So now I'm going to answer your question because that was just an introduction. Yes, I have, and I always will. And that's really why people, let's say, respect my work, because honesty, but vulnerable honesty, and not with a finger pointing honesty, because that's what we've learned to do, is something I cherish a lot, and it's so powerful because we all have our own agendas. For instance, in an interview, in a meeting, as you said, with the CEO or anyone for that matter, people come with their agenda. They know what they're going to say. They think they know what you're going to answer most of the time, so they know what's going to happen. So for you to stand in front of them and say, okay, is this what you mean? You take this little small details from the words and you mirror what they're saying, and they get shocked, they calm down, and they say, oh, I wasn't expecting that. That's completely different. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I mean, we tend not to be honest. So what does honesty mean? What am I trying to say? For instance, a lot of people might say something. They might tell you, you know what? I don't like your dress, and that is something bigger. Maybe I could say something smaller. But let's say a friend of mine comes up to me and says, "I don't like your dress," and I would As a normal person, I would say, why? I love this dress. It's my favorite dress, for instance. And why are you saying that to me? Or I would hide it inside me and come and say, misunderstand the message, and I would answer something that will bring more pain in the conversation. Where instead I could say, what is the reason behind your question? Is it because you feel uncomfortable with the dress if you're next to me? Okay, I know the example is not really helpful here. I'm talking to two men, but so sorry about that. But honesty means asking questions. It means understanding why the person said it, so that we don't misunderstand the messages we're told. And misunderstanding is so often in our communication. When it's so simple, we could just say, you know what you just said makes me feel like this. Is it really what you wanted to tell me? How many times do we do that? Almost none. So yes, I do. I do stand up in front of a lot of people, and I tell them my truth and what I see in them. So I do, yes. And
Would
they
you
tend to
use the
love it.
word? Would you use the word being authentic also?
Yes, of course. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, what does authentic again mean? Authentic, it took me many years to understand what authentic means, because a lot of coaches say, for instance, that there are three layers in us. It's what people see in us, what we think people see in us, and what we truly are. What we truly are is something very few people actually, at the end of the day, realize. We mostly are what people think of us, and we act that way. So 100% is that we don't know who we are, and by stopping, slowing down, we start learning who we are. We start understanding that when my mom told me, or my father told me, oh, you have to become a doctor, and because doctor suits you, or your father was like that, or your grandfather was like that, or it will be easy because you'll make money, then we start learning, okay, do I really want to be that? Is that something I love? What do I like to do? Do I like to use my hands, for instance? Or do I want to be creative? And you start learning about yourself through details. So slowing down means I understand myself, I love myself, and I will achieve what I want so much more easier and painless. If again I answered your question.
We'll do one more webinar in order to answer the questions.
Are you sure? I think you will never call me again. You say, "Oh my God, this girl doesn't answer my questions."
No, I enjoy it. I like that. So, Mariam, who do you help?
You mean who are my clients?
Yes.
Yes, I have a big range of clients, but mostly, if you ask me who I would love to help, is people who have a lot of impact. People who, by changing themselves, can change many people around them. That is so amazing when you see that. But okay, I love saying the opposite of what I believe always, because there's no white and black and white. There's always so many things around black and white. Is that, how do you know if you help someone, for instance, I'm just going to say a housewife, how do you know they're not going to be the next Hitler or the next Gandhi, right? So I'm gonna criticize myself, is that I really want to help people who can make a change, and I see it in their eyes, I see it in their heart. And usually people who get in high places, they're the most people with a lot of pain inside them, and they're really running from something. And when they find that what they're running from and why they're doing it, everything becomes so amazing in their life, and they really have an impact through their work and in their families and their friends and all that. But again, mostly I happen to help executives and entrepreneurs.
Okay. Small business owners. entrepreneurs in
And that.
companies? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in which country? Around the
um,
world, Australia, USA, Greece,
no,
Cyprus.
I have mostly increased, but a lot of things are opening right now, and there I can say in Europe mostly.
In
But
Europe.
I'm
Okay.
really open to anything. It's because till now I've been doing a lot of things, consulting and coaching. So now that I'm slowing even more down,
Slowing down, slowing down. I recorded all the
so
webinar. I will send it to you.
yes, you did, you did. So yeah, I'm open to more to training and coaching to people around the world. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you help them?
And what do you mean? I mean, what's
Let's
the
say that
process? You mean?
I have a business and I want to help me. Do you help me in which areas? For example, digital marketing, branding, revenue, leads, conversion, nothing of the
Yeah.
something else.
Um, I help the person, and
Person.
when you see, yeah, if we all know what's best for our own business, nobody can come and tell you how to do your business. But when do we know our business? When we really love what we do. If we're doing because we want to make money, nothing can be achieved. And I can't help you because you've got the wrong criteria from the beginning. But if you do what you love, am I really capable of telling you how to do your business? I can, but I won't. But if I help you find what you love, if I help you love yourself and understand your incredible possibilities that await you, then you are capable of changing and achieving your goals and being the business you want to be. So I help the person behind the businesses.
And
It's
where
more
can these entrepreneurs, executives can find you?
On LinkedIn through
LinkedIn.
Krikos.
Because okay. And
Yeah.
you have a website also?
Yes, our website is krikos.com. So it's CRIKOS, and it's again, if I'm allowed to say this quickly, is that
Of
it
course.
started Krikos because I believe in people. I didn't used to believe in people because I thought that we humans are capable of so many mean and ugly things. But after doing many years of work with myself, I understood that at the same time, we're capable of doing so many beautiful things. So, no matter if you're a CEO, no matter if you open doors for CEOs, no matter what you do, you're at the hotel and open doors, for instance. Um, what you want to do is to have people in your life that you love and they love you back. So it's not about what business you do, but it's about the human connection behind it. And Tricos was a big vision, is to connect the whole world, is to show people that everybody has a magic side to them. Everybody has a beautiful heart within them. No matter what they do, they all have a beautiful side. And that started to change, and the consulting came, and the coaching and everything. So yeah, through Kirkus, anybody can find us, and hopefully, if it's their path, I can help them.
Yes, okay, perfect. Anyway, I'm going to put all the links in the description, or if you want, uh, I can you can send me message and send you back the details of krikos.com. And before
Thank
we
you.
finish this interview, George, do you want to ask something? Because I have one more question.
well,
In
well,
order
last.
to see Mariam, that I'm a little bit coachable.
Yeah, it's not much of a question. What I would like to say is that it's very interesting whenever you hear this this sides of the story, of the same story but different side. For instance, we are having Mariam here who tell us or suggests us that we need to slow down in order to succeed. So for me, like I said in the beginning, these answers maybe many of the questions that people may have, because at the end of the day, it's not about just slowing down, or slowing down, but not in a sense of giving up, but actually slowing down, take a deep breath, and it's like dancing a cha-cha. A step back is not a step back, but
Nice
it's
way.
like dancing.
Hmm,
So
hmm,
I, this is what I've been looking for to hear in a sense. So there
hmm.
is no question for me. Back to you, coach.
Lovely put.
Mariam,
Then the $1 million question. Let's hear it.
yes. But why do you want to to make a question like that?
You did it all this time to me. It's my turn.
You mirror me. Okay. What's the best question could I make you to close this webinar powerfully?
Oh my God, that's unfair.
There is no fairness in this in the nature.
Oh, but my dear, it's only fair in nature. We are the only parts of nature that we have forgotten how to be fair. What question do you want me to answer?
Personally, I don't want
Um,
anything. I want you to
oh,
give me the question.
oh, okay. Um, maybe by saying that I've always, from as long as I remember myself, is that when I see people do good to each other, when they take care of an animal, when they smile, when when you see them being kind, it really just explodes my heart. I remember this from a real small child until this day. When, for instance, when I see a cartoon, an animation movie, or a film, and I see this, that there are people who want to do good, it's so beautiful, because all we need is love, as the song says, nothing else. Love is really the most powerful transforming feeling or product or anything in the world. And if we learn to really open our hearts, we can achieve anything we want in life. Because no matter who we are, no matter how high up the ladder we are, we really we really communicate through our heart, because it's not really nice to live on our own. It's there's no fun in that, but we want to share our life and our love with people. So if you want to really succeed in life, besides slowing down, open your heart and start connecting with people and being kind and loving towards everything and everyone, and understand what they have to what life is about, and you'll be amazed of the things you'll find. If that was a good ending line, my dear Manos and George.
It's fine. So love is everything, and love is everything.
Yeah.
And I need one more. Love is everything.
We could
Love
say love is
is
in the air.
anything. Huh? What? What?
We could say like the song, love is in the air.
Yeah. Easier. Go slow down. Slow down. You see
Yeah, yeah.
the answer. I knew the answer, and I was looking for something else.
Super.
Mariam,
Okay.
thank you very much for being here. It's my pleasure to discuss with you. Thank you very much for your time.
I
That
think
was
it's
absolutely.
me that has to. Sorry, George. It's really it's an honor really to talk with both of you, and I don't really say it as in a fake way. Um, this is the first live interview I've ever done, so I really thank you for this. Yeah, it's it's really great to be able to express all these things that I'm saying, and thank you so much. And I hope to learn much more from both of you and what you do
Yes,
after this lovely interview.
yes, for sure. For sure.
Okay, thank you
George?
so much.
Thank you very much for your time, Mariam. It has been a really wonderful 1 hour, and I could
Great,
easily
thank
say
you.
that we're looking forward on the next one when you're going to be doing a webinar with Manos. He's going to be rushing in, and it's going to be slowing down. This is what I really, really look forward. This is something that I really look forward to.
Okay, the next time then Manos has a webinar, tell me about it, and I will send him every 5 minutes a message.
Yes.
Breathe.
No, no. The next time that I'm going to meet Mariam, I go first for marathon, and then I will be.
Yes, 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 absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, my friend,
That's the
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
magic pill.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. It is a magic pill. True. Super.
So thank you very much. Have a nice
Thank you. Thank you
night
so much
in
to
Greece.
both of
Take
you.
care, Mariam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much. Bye bye to both of you. Bye bye. Bye.
George,
Well,
she's amazing.
that was it, wasn't it? Well, I mean, if we put the headline, actually, the headline was of the video was actually the whole video. I mean, we had this wonderful lady coming into the stage. She took it really nice and slow. She actually put the gear down instead of rushing in, and she gave us a whole new meaning of success. I mean, slow down, enjoy the ride, get to optimize, revert, change, and actually, at the end of the day, you will reach your Z point, like she mentioned, from A to Z. And it's better if you enjoy the ride. What I can tell you, well, I will start breathing from now on even more. I don't know about you.
I have to
And
put
I
some sprays. But out of
well,
that,
this is good for you as well.
I think that what she said is very true because we live in a society that every day we do everything in a rush, and that doesn't work. Because at the end of the day, what matters is how do we feel and how do we enjoy our life. So, having said that, it's very important. It's very important to be able to breathe all the gifts that we meet in everyday life and to move forward.
And you see, she didn't say anything about doing wrong or right or
No,
fail or whatever. She actually said you will do you. There is not no other way in a sense. So yes, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And this is life in full excellence, my dear friend. Being true
yes.
to yourself, being honest to yourself, be authentic, and yes, it does matter. Intelligence, the emotions, and everything. So yeah, this is life in full excellence, my dear friend. And we heard it from a woman who has spent quite many years of her life communicating with herself and with other people as well.
So thank you very much for those who you are here. I wish you the best. If you want to ask something, please do that. We can ask later on. And remember, live in full excellence.
That's
Have
it.
an
Full
amazing day,
excellence.
night. Bye bye.
Take care, everybody. Thank you very much. Bye, Manos. Bye, Coach.